Mr Davidson.
Mr Assistant Speaker, the Canberra Liberals want to keep drugs illegal. Don't worry about academic research. Don't even bother talking to any health experts. Drugs should be illegal. Addiction is bad. Cops are good. Vote Liberal. Have I got it right? I don't know. Maybe I have. Now, the member comes into the chamber this week with a bad faith motion on addiction when he and his mates in the Labor Party voted down a Greens budget amendment just last week to stop $41 million of public money going to the gambling industry. Now, addiction is a criminal issue for the Canberra Liberals, but they're not looking to make alcohol illegal, the drug strongly associated with domestic violence in this country. Addiction is a criminal issue for the Canberra Liberals, but they will sure as hell keep on taking donations from the gambling industry and coming into the chamber to do their bidding, ruining lives in the process. Now, Mr Assistant Speaker, as a government minister in this place, I say to the opposition very clearly, addiction is a health issue. Harm minimisation saves lives, and shame on anyone who stands in the way. Drug decriminalisation is just one of the so-called radical reforms that we are making, so put your seatbelts on 2cc because this might get a bit rough for you. Harm minimisation does not start nor end with decriminalisation. People take drugs. People take drugs regardless of their legality. It really shouldn't require a private member's bill for someone to inform the Canberra Liberals of that. Now, while a member was having a tantrum last year, this government installed Australia's first pill testing site. Yes, almost 1 in 5 people discard their drugs at the clinic when they learn what's in it. But the Canberra Liberals don't support that. Instead, they prefer to put people's lives at greater risk by denying them access to pill testing or a confidential chat with a health expert. This member doesn't support pill testing at festivals either. I don't know if he's ever attended one before, but people take drugs there. Young people take drugs there, and that's why we support pill testing at festivals. The Canberra Liberals object to that too. The Canberra Liberals would prefer to see more police at festivals instead, causing young people to panic at the sight of them and their sniffer dogs and increasing the likelihood of overdose when people take all their drugs at once. Now, when this chamber finally agrees to a safe injecting room, and I hope that that will happen soon, I guarantee that this member will come back for another half-baked attempt at trying to control other people's lives, because he doesn't want people who use injected drugs having clean needles in a controlled environment either. This member and his Conservative political party have absolutely no regard for the well-being of people who use drugs or for the family and friends who love and care for them. Criminalising drug use prevents people from seeking support. The Canberra Liberals know this. Now, here's something that the Canberra Liberals should also know. Drug users are going to use drugs in the ACT regardless of any laws that pass through this chamber. The way to address addiction is through a health lens. The war on drugs is over, Jeremy, and you lost. Now, Speaker, every accidental overdose death is avoidable. We need to destigmatise addiction. We need to fund health services, not police and prison cells. Harm minimisation works, and shame on anyone who stands in the way. I learned that within less than a year of moving to this city, when 16-year-old Bindi Calder, almost as old as I was at the time, died from an overdose in an underpass across the road from the Centrelink office where I worked. Had heroin use been treated as a health issue instead of a criminal issue, maybe it wouldn't have cost her life. The Greens fought for drug reform. We took it to the 2020 election proudly, and we went from 2 to 6 seats in this place in that election. Canberrans are sick of Conservatives pretending that more cops and more court dates and more prison cells are the answer to everything. We will make these reforms, and we will save lives by doing so, because these reforms come with increased funding for alcohol and other drug addiction services, and we Greens would like to make it even easier to access these support services with more funding in future. And so, in closing, through you, Mr Deputy Speaker, I say to the opposition, grab a box of naloxone and get over it.